Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, we were talking about Les Wexner last night and how L Brands is getting ready to piece off Victoria's Secret, and we were discussing some of the reasons why. And of course, the article from CNBC was skirting around the real issue, and that issue is Jeffrey Epstein and Wexner's not only association with Epstein, but his much deeper ties. And to think that the people at L Brands don't know that, the other board members, et cetera, would be very naive. So they understand that Les Wexner is a pariah at this point. He is a huge black eye to the company, and he is the kind of guy that will drag sales all the way down to the very basement at this point. Because who wants to go and buy lingerie from somebody who is protecting, supporting, and enabling a sexual predator? I mean, really, who the hell wants to buy lingerie from a guy like that? And now that this public is getting more this story is getting more public notoriety, it's going to be a lot harder for them to avoid the scrutiny and the blowback. So L Brands is doing the prudent thing, and they're piecing off Victoria's Secret to the Sycamore partners. And that deal looks like it's going to go down probably this week, they're saying. So we'll keep our eye on that. But a lot of this sale also has to do with what we're going to talk about in the article today, and that's the Victoria's Secret rampant corporate abuse, basically, of these models. And now the models are fighting back. They're, the union for the models is calling on Victoria's Secret and L Brands to protect their models. I mean, I know it's a lot for them to ask, right? For the employees, the models, to be protected. I know that's a huge deal for Victoria's Secret. It's too much work for them, I guess. They don't have the funds or something, or they don't have the proper people working for them or whatever to respect these girls who are just doing their job as models. All right? You don't have to be like Rezak was or any of these other scumbags. And ultimately, this is what led to the downfall of Victoria's Secret and to Victoria's Secret getting pieced off. So we're going to read this article this morning, and it's from the Columbus Dispatch. And the headline is, Alliance calls on Victoria's Secret L Brands to do more to protect models. Well, they're not going to have to worry about it for much longer, folks, because L Brands is definitely getting rid of Victoria's Secret one way or the other. If it's not Sycamore, it's going to be somebody else. But there's no way that they are going to keep Victoria's Secret at this point, considering all of the scrutiny and the backlash that's going on. It's just not going to be profitable for them, and they understand that. And also, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's people that want Wexner gone as well. People that, they might not say it because they fear him still, but I highly doubt he's made too many allies. A nonprofit that represents those in the fashion industry is calling on Victoria's Secret to take more steps to protect its models from harassment. The request comes after a New York Times story about claims that the corporate leaders presided over a culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment. And we talked about that story when it first came out. We covered that. We went over that. And we were reading of the story from the Times, and they're exposing of Victoria's Secret's, it's just corrupt from the top on down, folks, right? All of these executives, it was like, that was just the way the environment was in the company. You could sexually harass women, et cetera, et cetera. It's just the way the whole entire company operated. And again, that starts at the very top, right? Wexner has to be held responsible for all of that stuff. At the end of the day, he's the boss. He is the boss. He's the one who is in charge. He's the one who is sitting in that boardroom as the CEO. So it's good to see that at the very least, folks, at the very least, this guy's going to have to piece off Victoria's Secret. He's been the CEO of Victoria's Secret for decades. This has to be a gut punch to him. And guess what? The first of many, hopefully. A group of more than 100 models has signed a letter to Victoria's Secret calling for the lingerie retailer to do more to protect models and other workers from harassment. Well, a good way to do that is just to sell the company, right? You'll definitely be doing everybody a favor when you sell this company off. They won't have to worry about being harassed by people at the Sycamore Partners Group. The letter from the Model Alliance, a nonprofit that provides support for people in the fashion industry, comes after the New York Times on Sunday reported a culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment under the direction of Leslie Wexner and Ed Razek. And we were talking about Ed Razek as well and his disgusting behavior and how he thought he could just, put his hands on whoever he wanted, talk to people however he wanted, be as disgustingly rude to whoever he wanted. Well, newsflash for you, Mr. Ed Razek. Your buddy Wexner can't protect you anymore, and you're being exposed for the scumbag you obviously are as well, buddy. How about that? Enjoy your week. Wexner is the founder and CEO of Columbus-based L Brands, the parent of Victoria's Secret. Razek, who retired last year, was the company's longtime chief marketing officer. Well, that's interesting. He retired last year. He probably saw the writing on the wall. He understood that once Wexner was gone, he wasn't going to have that protection. Once there was a real company that came in to take over, a real management company came in and took over, that he knows that he was not long for the company anyway. Because a guy like that cannot operate under a company that conducts themselves the correct way. There is no way you can go around doing what Razek was doing and get away with it if you work for a company that holds its employees accountable for their actions. The New York Times story was based on interviews with more than 30 current and former executives, employees, contractors, models, along with court filings and other documents. And what's so interesting here is that it's so many people that were interviewed, 30 former executives, employees, contractors, models. So it's not like just one person with a grudge that's saying this stuff, right? You have multiple people spinning the same story. So Victoria's Secret obviously was engaged in this sort of behavior. The executives up top were engaged in this sort of behavior, and it just lent itself to Jeffrey Epstein using this whole entire Victoria's Secret situation as a fertile hunting ground. It's just so gross to think about. We believe that this moment can be a wake-up call for Victoria's Secret, the letter said. The group has been urging L Brands to join its Respect program that calls for companies to make binding commitments to protect models and other workers from harassment and gives models a way to make confidential complaints. What's so wrong with that? We know that we can't let Victoria's Secret or L Brands investigate themselves, so what's so wrong with them joining this group and being held accountable from an outside entity? What's so bad about that? More than 100 models signed the letter, including Christy Turlington Burns, Edie Campbell, Gemma Ward, and Iskra Lawrence, among others. The company said in a statement Friday that it shares in the common goal with the alliance of ensuring the safety and well-being of models. It said it has taken several steps already that reflect elements of the Respect program and in some cases goes further. Yeah, of course, because guess what? They're just so great. Victoria's Secret obviously is managed so greatly that we don't have to worry about them, implementing the rules that the other companies do. They'll just, beat to their own drum because guess what? Les Wexner can do whatever he wants, folks. At least that's what they thought. We're proud of the progress we've made and remain committed to continuous improvement, the company said. We're always open to engage with those looking to make improvements in the industry. The Times report shows that the culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment at Victoria's Secret is even more egregious and more entrenched than previously understood, the letter said. Well, not to anybody who was really paying attention. What it did, though, was it lended credibility to what we thought we knew. It lended credibility to the things that we've heard, but weren't out there in the public eye. So it's good now that this is on record and the legacy media is even reporting on it because factually we know it was happening. The alliance said it met with Victoria's Secret 5 months ago and proposed that the company take concrete actions to change its culture of misogyny and abuse. The company refused to act. Of course it did. What do you think, Les Wexner is going to change his stripes all of a sudden? Of course it did. The only hope for Victoria's Secret and the employees who work for Victoria's Secret to get a fair shake and to not be abused and exploited is for Les Wexner to go away and for L Brands to sell off Victoria's Secret. It is the only way, folks. Sales and profits at Victoria's Secret have been sliding in recent years as the retailer struggled in the Me Too era that has shoppers turning elsewhere. The Dispatch confirmed reports that L-Brand is considering selling Victoria's Secret and that Wexner may step down. And that's what we were talking about last night, that Wexner, he's going to have to step down if they sell it to Sycamore, because Sycamore does not want the pariah of Wexner at the helm. They don't want anything to do with that. They want to wash that stink off of their hands and get moving in the right direction. They really do not want to deal with Les Wexner. They know what kind of human being he is. They know what he's been involved in. They know what he's accused of. They know that him and Jeffrey Epstein were great buddies, and they do not want to deal with that. So look for Sycamore to finish this sale at some point. I'm pretty confident that it's going to happen. Obviously, things can change. Things happen in boardrooms all the time. But from what I'm hearing, I'm pretty confident that this sale is going to happen and that Wexner is going to step down. So hopefully, when Sycamore purchases the company, that they jump on board with this group here, and they jump on board with the alliance, and they make sure that they are adhering to whatever rules the other modeling agencies are adhering to make sure that it's a decent workplace for these people. Is that too much to ask, folks? A decent workplace? These people come and, they're wearing skimpy clothing or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you have a great-looking body you work hard for and you want to show it off, I have zero problem with that. But these people should be respected. These women or men or whoever is modeling for this company should be respected as employees and not looked at as just a big bag of meat. It's ridiculous that these companies in the year 2020 are still conducting themselves this way. Absolutely ridiculous, folks. All right. So if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci at protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. And if you would like to help support the podcast, you can do that by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. All right, everybody, I will be back later on tonight with a daily drop. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Talk to you later.